we have been lied to in the West and all around the world, actually. People have been lied to since, well, from the beginning of time, right? Satan is a liar. He is a murderer from the beginning and the author of lies. But truly, since the Reformation, we have been lied to and told that salvation depends almost all upon God and it doesn't depend upon us. Because that people will say things, leaders, we're talking about pastors, people with authority, say that, well, humans are frail. We're capable of error, we're capable of sinning. So it has to depend only upon God, right? It just makes sense. But let me tell you why that's a lie. It's a lie because it's not the full truth. Look, let's be clear. There is no doubt that salvation is of the Lord. Jonah prayed that when he was in the belly of the great fish. It's one of the greatest lines in a prayer ever. He said, salvation is of the Lord. He knew where it came from. None of us, you, me, nobody. If you're a Christian today, nobody would be saved without the grace of God. Salvation's a gift by grace through faith. So yes, it does depend upon God. Salvation does. God, who is unchangeable, who is all-powerful, who's perfect. Salvation originated with him. That's why we rightly say God is love, because the whole plan of redemption came from him and was orchestrated by him. That's why he gets the glory for it ultimately. It was his mighty hand that sent Christ to be born of a virgin, that, did the whole plan, dying on the cross, rising from the dead. However, it is an error. It is false teaching. I'll go so far as to call it heresy. It is heresy to say salvation depends only on God and not upon you and I. Here's why it's heresy. Because the New Testament does not teach that. I assure you, read it again and again. Read those 27 books as many times as it takes to get this in your spirit, that salvation depends 100% on God and 100% on you and I. In other words, you have to be faithful to the new covenant and not be like the Israelites of old that were idolaters and sexually immoral. They were unfaithful. They were harlots, basically. And God called them that in many places, especially in the book of Hosea. He said, you guys, my church has become like a prostitute, basically. Strong language, but that's what idolatry is. Worshiping not God, but other gods, other things in our mind and our hearts. Worshiping, caring about other things way more than God's kingdom. Or worshiping ourselves. That's a great sin too, a huge idol. But basically, salvation depends upon you as well, your faithfulness. Yes, Jesus said he would be with us to the ends of the earth, to the end of the age. But that was always conditional on us being faithful to him. Many people don't talk about that. Salvation does, whether you make it to heaven or go to hell someday, does depend on you. Are you going to stay pure? Are you going to stay holy? Are you going to walk worthy of the gospel? Or are you going to go back to your life of immorality and worldliness and sin? Look, the temptation, my friend, is strong. The devil's always trying to pull us back, isn't he? To go back to the old ways, back to our old life, or just into the ways of the evil one. The temptations are strong. You have to resist with all your might. This is why the Bible says that only he who endures to the end will be saved. Jesus, my friend, Jesus did not just promise the crown of life to everyone. He promises the crown of life to those who overcome, to those who fight the good fight like the Apostle Paul did and finish the race, to those who keep the faith, not give up on it, not deconstruct, not dive into woke stuff. No, keep the faith, stick with the scriptures, and live worthy of Christ. Follow him, actually follow him. So, my point today, don't let anybody lie to you. Salvation depends for sure 100% on God. We need him to hold us. We need him to work with us and give us grace daily and his spirit on a weekly basis. So we depend upon him, Rightly so. But salvation also hinges and depends upon you and me. Don't make that tragic error, that mistake of a lifetime of thinking that God is just going to somehow drag you across the finish line, no matter how you're living, no matter how your thought life is, no matter what you engage in, no matter what your conduct is like, what your mouth is like, your thought life, like I mentioned, where you go, what you do, what you allow yourself to listen to. Don't make that mistake, because you can't live lawless before God. Antinomian, in essence, like the Antichrist will be, against law. You can't live an unholy life and just think, oh, it all depends on God, so I'm going to make it to heaven somehow, some way. He'll understand, or he'll forget or forgive, or what. No, 1,000 times no. Depends 100% on you and 100% on God.